The Kutsche Office of Local History at Grand Valley State University is pleased to honor our 2021 Gordon Olson Award winner, Lisa Plank. The Gordon Olson Award recognizes individuals whose work embodies the Kutsche Office's mission of using history to give voice to diverse communities in West Michigan. We have created this video to share more about Lisa Plank and the accomplishments that led her to receive this award.
I grew up in Grand Rapids and always loved history. I got into museums when I was 12. The Grand Rapids Public Museum graciously let me come and be a volunteer and then an intern with them in their collections department. And then I went on to Western Michigan University and did a public history degree there. And then did graduate work in South Carolina on applied history, which is basically public history. With a museum studies emphasis. So, I've always loved museums. I've worked in a number of museums in the West Michigan area. I worked at the Voight House and the Lakeshore Museum Center, the Hackley Hume Houses. And then we lived in Minnesota for a while, and I worked at the Richfield Historical Society there. And then when we moved back to West Michigan, we moved to Lowell, and so I got involved as a volunteer here at this museum. And then came on as staff later on. So the Lowell Area Historical Museum is a great example of a small local history museum. We've featured the history of our area with different exhibits that talk about different aspects of history. But one of the things that makes us really unique among small museums is the amount of outreach that we do. We really try to reach our community and its visitors everywhere that they are. So we've done interpretive boards in the historic district in Main Street and some area parks. We have an extensive online program. We have a weekly history series that we do that goes out both digitally and in the local newspaper, the Lowell Ledger, and that Lowell First Look, one of our local online news services. So we really try to reach people in a lot of different ways. We have a really robust education program with our elementary schools. And so, it's a wonderful small museum that has a really big mission. And we have a really great volunteer crew that really lets us do much more than we would be able to with the staff the size that we have. So. But one of the fun parts about local history is it's like a giant jigsaw puzzle. And as you get new pieces of information donated to the museum, all of a sudden something that you thought you might know all about changes because this new piece opens up a new avenue of investigation.
Lisa Plank was nominated for this award by historians Drs. Matthew Daly and Scott Stabler. They, along with our award committee, wanted to spotlight the ways Lisa Plank's work acknowledges that local history is just as complex, critical, and contested as the present, and uplift the ways she has made West Michigan history accessible to the community. Drs. Daly and Stabler worked most closely with Lisa Plank when researching an article about the Lowell Showboat, and how that popular local attraction used degrading blackface performances and romanticized slavery in the Old South for the benefit of white West Michigan audiences from 1932 to 1976.
And minstrel shows were the most popular form of entertainment in the Midwest and the North in the 19th century. So the only interaction most white people have, or any kind of idea of what black people would be like in the North, is through these minstrel shows which mock black people and make them look less than intelligent. What was so controversial about the Lowell show was blackface. They had blackface minstrels, and I think they're synonymous, where they would put black makeup. White people would cover their faces in black makeup. That was very racist, and these were called the Endmen that had the blackface. And they were Lowell residents, and they were a mainstay of the showboat until 1976.
When we were contacted by Scott Stabler and Matthew Daly to start doing some research on the Lowell Showboat. We were glad to have them. We've got an extensive archive on the Lowell Showboat. It was a really big part of the community here for a very long time. It started in 1932 during the Depression as a way to bring people to town on a regular basis. The town had just celebrated its centennial the year before, and they saw what having an event could do to bring people into town. And so they wanted to find a way to do that annually. And so the idea of a Lowell Showboat was born. It was a popular theme at that time, and it continued on for many, many years here in Lowell. We have had 6 showboats now in our history, and it's really been a community building identity here in Lowell. That being said, there is some difficult history that goes along with it. And part of a historian's job is to provide the documents, provide the context for a wider range of people to be able to understand our past, and to use that to bring those stories to light. So we were thrilled to be able to have the professors here to look into that history, and they wrote a wonderful article sharing that in the Michigan Historical Review. And here at the museum, we don't shy away from it either. We have a showboat exhibit, and part of that exhibit explores the history of blackface. Not only here on the showboat, but in America in general. It had a long history in America. And that was part of the Lowell Showboat story as well. And so we are very upfront with that and bring that out so that we can have those conversations within our community.
She wanted the history told. So I was impressed by that. And again, a lot of unsung heroes in local history, right? We have the big archives, the big librarians, but local history, little places like Lowell, are really important to historians and often get skipped over in the context of racism, entertainment, othering, all those kind of things that historians like to study are right there in Lowell.
On behalf of the Kutsche Office of Local History from Grand Valley State University, I am just delighted today to be presenting this award, the Gordon Olson Award, to Lisa Plank from the Lowell Historical Museum for her work here in Lowell and in furthering its history and also bringing the voices of underrepresented groups, diverse groups to the fore through her work.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you.